We're talking Willy's Wonderland today on Gene and Roger Talk Movies. A couple months ago, when Five Nights at Freddy's was out, we did a review on that. Still our shortest review ever.
Because that movie sucked.
We were the wrong audience for that movie for sure. And I had mentioned, hey, there's
a 14-year-old kind of liked it.
Well, of course, that's the audience for it, right?
It's made for 14-year-olds.
Yes, 14-year-old boys for sure. But I had mentioned, hey, there's this kind of similar movie, but it's way cooler in my opinion, called Willy's Wonderland with Nicolas Cage.
Very similar, but very not similar.
Right. It's actually moves along really nicely. So, Gene, what are your thoughts initially on Willy's Wonderland?
Well, I think you have to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. You know, there's like a fun house. Yeah, it's like a modern horror Chuck E. Cheese in a way. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's and this movie, they go animatronic crazy, whereas Chuck E. Cheese, I think just a few of them. It's been so long since I've been there. But I've hoped Chuck E. Cheese has improved their food. I just remember the last time their food was just so bad. But I mean, it's a kid, right? And you bring birthday cakes and, you know, nobody cares, right? And whenever I drive by that parking lot, it always seems to be full, you know, so people still go to Chuck E. Cheese. And
well, it could just be abandoned vehicles also, Gene.
It could be abandoned vehicles. It could be, yeah. Yeah. And why am I talking about Chuck E. Cheese? But no, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a kind of a kickoff on that idea, but in the horrific realm, Five Nights at Freddy was, I mean, it's a great idea. The video game is not bad, but it's just really poor execution. And I went into this movie with zero expectations. I knew that Nicolas Cage was in it, but that he didn't speak, and he doesn't.
Right.
There's one part where he like grunts. But you know something? I walked away from this movie like sometimes movies just surprise you, and this movie is one of them. And this movie doesn't suck. It's actually super entertaining. You know, if you're a horror movie fan, some movies, you know, we say this is like, yeah. If you like horror movies, you should watch this. And I think this movie falls under this category. It's so surprising. You just think it's got all the elements of a really bad movie. Then all of a sudden it just like surprises you.
Right. You
know, and it's just like, wow, it's got really good action. And it actually has some little underlying themes going on, you know, that you can really divulge into and think about. And you can even have like an intelligent conversation about. So it's...
Well, yeah, let's get into that right now. Gene, what themes are you talking about?
I like this movie.
What themes are you talking about?
Well, the Nicolas Cage character, first of all, is like driving his really nice car, and then all of a sudden, all four tires go out. Boom, 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 boom. You know, as a traveler, your worst nightmare. You're stuck in some place you don't know, and then some dude with some tow truck. I think he calls it the tow truck. Tow truck comes by.
Well, but how? How does he call the tow truck?
Yeah, because he doesn't talk. Yeah. But anyway, they go to this little town, and then the guy says, "I only take cash. It's going to be $1,000." Totally rip him off. But and he doesn't have a cat, and the ATMs, of course, don't work.
Well, because there's no internet even in this little
yeah,
town.
There's no. Yeah, and so there's a deal. You know, it's like, I'll fix your car if you clean this restaurant. Mm-hmm. You know, stay in here all night, clean it up, have your car in the morning. And so Nicolas Cage, he just accepts the deal. And it's like he needs energy. And so he sets his watch. And like every certain amount of time, his watch goes off. And then he has to have one of his drinks. And it doesn't seem like it's an energy drink, but it just seems like some random soda.
Right, it's a fruit punch kind of thing.
So he drinks this soda, and then he has to play this pinball machine for a little bit. And then it like energizes him, and he becomes this super guy. And it makes me think, is that like, was Nicolas Cage even like a real person? You know, because he comes along and he's got these superpowers, and wear these animatronic things that are endowed with like devilish spirits. They just kill people and tear them up. Nicolas Cage just destroys them, which is great.
Well, but I liked, though, how the reason he set his watch was because that owner of Willy's Wonderland said, hey, now I need you, it's going to be a tough night for you doing all this hard work. I need you to make sure you take your breaks. And so he would set that watch so it would tell him to take a break. And
He did say that.
Yeah, and it's great because there's this really great scene kind of in the middle where this girl has infiltrated Willy's Wonderland to try to save Nicolas Cage, who's not concerned with being saved on any level.
No, because he's tearing these things up.
Right.
And he knows he owns them.
And she is suddenly in this conflict with one of the animatronics, and Nicolas Cage comes in to maybe save the day, and then, his watch goes off. Oh, it's my break time. I've got to go on break.
And he leaves her to kind of fend for herself, and she fights him off for a little bit. And then she survives.
His break ends, and he comes back.
He comes in until it destroys the thing, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that part was just awesome you're right. He's got his little energy drinks or whatever those things are and fixing up that pinball machine. And I'm on break. I'm playing pinball.
He has to take his break, yeah.
And I also like how the girl has one of the beauties of Nicolas Cage not saying a line of dialogue is it's not like people aren't talking to him. And
they're talking directly to him, but he doesn't answer. And so people
respond.
kind of interpret what he's going to say, and then they just move on.
Right. Yeah.
But there's no questioning of him. It's like, why are you not talking to me? None of that happens.
No, and even the tow truck driver's like, he doesn't say much.
Right. Yeah, I like that little girl. There's a little plot twist, and I guess these animatronic creatures were fiendishly effective at killing. And so the town, tried to close this place, but then the creatures got out and they were killing people in the neighborhood. And so they made some pact with the devil, which never goes well, right?
No. Well, and I also like, though, how the backstory of the animatronic creatures is the owner of Willy's Wonderland was actually a psychotic murderer with his team of cannibals.
Yeah, they're all serial killers, and then the police closed in on them, and they killed themselves in some satanic ritual.
Right.
And so their spirits left their bodies and went into these animatronic creatures. But then the town makes a deal with them, saying that, hey, we know that you're powerful, but leave our town alone. We will give you regular sacrifice.
Right.
And I guess these just random travelers,
yeah,
the stupid police officers, they're all, everyone's in on it. So they put out their spike trips, immobilize visitors' cars, take them to Willy's Wonderland, and they got to work it off.
Right.
People actually agree to this. But normally the animatronic creatures, they just destroy the people.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one case where a family got destroyed except for the little girl, and the police officer, who was this old grizzly woman, she sees the little girl and has pity on her, and she takes her as her own, and she raises her, turns into a little Selena Gomez lookalike. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's the girl that wants, at the beginning, she's trying to light the building on fire,
right?
to rid the town,
burn it to the ground.
Yeah, but she's surrounded by her wacky teenage buddies.
Well, you have to have victims, since none of these animatronics are going to get
know that all
Cage.
Those teenagers, probably except for her, they're all going to die. They rapidly meet their end. Yeah.
Yeah, and unlike Five Nights at Freddy's, they're not afraid to have blood and gore, and
there's lots of blood.
Yeah,
lots.
And
gore.
I also love how the owner of Willy's Wonderland, before he locks Nicolas Cage in, he's like showing him the Willy's Wonderland shirt, and he's like, "Yeah, hey, you're staff now." And so he puts the Willy's Wonderland shirt on, and then every time he has an interaction with one of these animatronics, his shirt gets completely covered in gore, and then he changes it into a clean shirt.
Right, because he has a ready supply of clean shirts. So he cleans himself up. And then he puts on a new shirt.
Yeah, because he's staff. He's representing Willy's Wonderland.
I know.
So he's got a good work
ethic.
But
when he destroys these creatures, they bleed this, like industrial, oil-ish fluid.
Yeah.
It's like their blood.
Well, and he's doing a whole Mortal Kombat, like pulling his spine out and stuff like that. And all
it
that.
reminded me of Terminator, where he's ripping the spine out. And the spine's kind of jiggling a little bit still. Yeah. Yeah, so Nicolas Cage, he's like a force of justice here. He rids the town of this curse and kills them all, and yeah.
Right, and even the main Willy's Wonderland owner, he gets his comeuppance too, because
Yeah, because Nicolas Cage doesn't quite kill them all. There's this one like very little
Siren Sarah.
Yeah, she's like the little fairy from Peter Pan, which I can't remember her little name. But yeah,
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell. Thank you. But she survives, but she's got that killer spirit. So she ends up killing the owner of the place and the crooked tow truck driver, who you hate these characters. You know,
Right.
They're just corrupt as all heck. Yeah, and they probably killed many people in similar veins as part of carrying out their agreement.
This has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, so they get their just reward at the end. Yeah, so it was good to see that. But in the process of doing that Tinkerbell little character blows herself up.
Yes.
So they're all gone.
Yeah, it's, and I think you kind of hit it earlier where, sometimes a horror movie just is going to just be a horror movie, and it's a pleasant little watching experience, and there's nothing too deep going on here. Kind of like The Conjuring, where, hey, it's just a movie. There's nothing else really going on. Do you have a good ride or not? And I just love this movie just because it's so bizarre with the Nicolas Cage character, how he doesn't speak. I love the fact that people speak to him and he does not respond.
He does not respond.
I love his little break routine, which is just amazing because it's a height of a major action sequence. His watch goes off. I'm on break.
He's got to take a break because the guy said, "Yeah, you're right." Because the guy said to take a break. Don't be He said, "Be sure to take breaks."
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage was super effective like that. He walked into that place. That place was demolished. But he cleaned it up. It looked like it was ready to reopen.
Right. No,
he did a great job.
Well, and when the tow truck driver and the owner come, they're expecting
the next morning. Yeah, they expect to find his body
to be dead, and that here's another cool car for your collection.
Right.
So he's obviously been collecting all these vehicles.
Yeah, so they like this deal too.
Yeah, and then wait, it's sparkling clean in there. What's going on?
They know something's wrong. Yes.
And then they're happy because he actually ended the curse for us. Only to end up getting killed by the Sarah Siren. But I just love, and I love that. Nicolas Cage, he comes walking out. He just puts his hand out, hey, give me my keys. I'm out of here.
And to their credit, tiny bit of integrity, they fulfill their part of the deal. The car is fixed, give the keys back to him, and he drives off.
Right.
Well, and actually the girl, who's still living, the teenage girl, the Selena Gomez look-alike, she comes and she looks at him, and then he kind of looks at her, and there's some nonverbal exchange.
Right. She's learned how to communicate thoroughly with him by no longer speaking as well.
Right, and so she gets into his car because now she has really got nowhere to go because did the cop die?
She got cut in half. Do you not remember that? Willy comes up. She's got the shotgun on Nicolas Cage, and she's like, "Look, we've got to sacrifice you to this. Willy, come over here and take care of this." And he cuts her right in half with his paw.
Oh yeah, that's the major character with the long neck and the paw. Yeah. There was so much killing. I guess I forgot about that. It's like, they all blend. But so she's got nowhere to go, right? I mean, she was living in a trailer anyway, but so she gets in the car. It's super nice. Chevy Camaro. Yeah, it's really nice. And so she's now been adopted.
Yeah, she's
by
now
Nicolas Cage,
right.
And they drive off into the sunset.
Right. Yeah. And she's learned not to speak to him.
And they'll go
they're communicating really well with each other by not speaking.
They'll have a great father-daughter relationship with no talking. Yeah, this movie's great. Yeah, I would watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch for sure. A rainy Sunday and there's nothing on and you just hit play on this, you will be very surprised.
Yeah, it's horror comedy, I think, down that road for sure.
Well, I mean, the initial...
But it's good.
Just how quickly Nicolas Cage kicks the crap out of these supposedly dangerous things is amazing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking he drinks the soda, it gives him powers, or I don't know, something's going on, or he had these powers to begin with. Like, he is so strong, he doesn't need to talk.
He's just
his aura, talks for him.
Well, and I just like because they try to do some scares. Like, there's this scene in a bathroom. There's bathroom stalls. There's this demonic voice speaking. And Nicolas Cage just starts opening those things. All right, where are you? And just ends
it's
up
a big gorilla. It jumps all over him. The big gorilla thinks, "Oh, I'm going to destroy this guy." And then Nicolas Cage just starts just punching the tar out of him and just puts his mouth on the edge of a urinal of all things.
just completely
And
curb
destroys
stomps him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like that black fluid flying
Yeah.
everywhere.
No, it's
I felt bad for him, yeah, because he just cleaned the bathroom.
know.
And now it's all messed up again.
yeah, but it's that's what we're talking about with this film. It's just unique. It's definitely you'll think of Five Nights at Freddy's if you saw that movie or maybe even
No, I'll
played
skip
the
that
video
one,
games.
but yeah, watch this one.
But it's definitely moves a lot. It tells you the backstory in an effective way through flashbacks that are not intrusive. They actually help the story, and
Right.
it's
right.
just a good, solid film. So I think
Yeah.
Gene highly recommended.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I think believe it or not, I think it does touch on the theme of like, which is pretty heavy, is that the theme of like settling, instead of fighting, for what's right or fighting for where your life really needs to go. You kind of accept a compromise, and instead of really fighting that extra level to do the right thing for you and your people, you settle. So this theme runs through that. So I mean, it even operates at that level.
Well, and I mean, you've got a whole town that just decided this is
Right.
how it's going to be, and
Right,
that's
we're going to
it.
give you sacrifices.
Yeah.
Really? That's your solution? Yeah.
So, anything final about Willy's Wonderland?
I love that car. I was kind of thinking, man, I just bought a Mini Cooper. That thing's it's turbocharged and it's fast, but maybe I should have got a Camaro.
You are at that age where you should be thinking Camaros, right?
I could. I'll keep the Cooper for a while because it is pretty fast. I mean, geez. But then, I could trade it in for a Camaro.
Mm-hmm. I just wish I had some backstory on the pre-production of this film, because the director, I'm sure, here's a whole bunch of dialogue for the Nicolas Cage character to say, and then Nicolas Cage was like, "Oh, I'll be in your movie, but guess what? I'm not going to say any of this dialogue."
I know. I'd like to know the backstory, because it's like you read in the opening credits, you don't see Nicolas Cage's name. You don't see his name until the end. But I'm thinking maybe he did the movie as like a favor to kind of like help the careers of these young actors. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, he's listed as one of the producers of this film.
Right,
so he
right,
put some money
exactly.
up.
So maybe, yeah, right.
But
right,
I just am like, Nicolas Cage is an interesting fellow, and the fact
He
that he would be
is.
like, "Yep, I'm a big star. I've got an
Huge.
Academy Award, and I'm not going to say any dialogue in this movie," and it's probably one of his better performances.
Yeah, it was Leaving Las Vegas was the Academy Award.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a pretty dark movie.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, and he's in about every fifth movie that comes out. He's in it.
He
so-
is very prolific.
Yeah.
yeah.
He understands what it means to be called an actor, because, yep, I'll be in that. I'll be in that.
Because he turns them out.
Yeah, which is fine. Gene, what are we doing next week? We did get a text from our director friend, Scott
I
Eggleston.
think, what's the name of that movie?
It is called Disappear Completely. It's a Mexican film about some occult shenanigans going on.
Did he recommend Where Evil Lurks?
No, that was me.
That was you. Yeah, because he recommended stop motion, which I really love that movie. The more I think about stop motion, the more I really like it. Yeah, so, we'll probably do that next week.
Okay,
Say the name again?
Well, I keep getting confused. I think it is called Disappear Completely, but it might be called Completely Disappear.
Well, tune in next week. You'll find out.
It's on Netflix right now.
And
So.
Scott will be with us.
Yeah, so hopefully we can fit that in to his schedule, and because he wants to talk about that. And, of course, you know us, so it might be that. It might be something completely different. Who knows?
Depending on Scott's schedule
right.
for this week.
For sure. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. Check out Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland.
It is a lot of fun. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.